They call me a monster. But what is a monster? To the world that fears the cold, they scream, they run, they hide when I appear. But have you ever asked why I move through your lands, leaving frost in my wake? I am Jötunn, a frost giant, and for centuries you've told stories about me, but you never asked how it felt. I was born from the frost of Jötunheim, the void where fire and ice first kissed, long before your kind drew breath. My first memory is cold, not the biting cold of your winters, but a cold that gnaws at the soul, a silence that screams. The gods. They call me Enir's kin, but we are more than their bedtime stories. We were creation's echo, the hammer and anvil of worlds. We roamed freely, giants of ice and storm, living in vast halls of frozen stone. And yes, we were terrifying. But in those days, terror was survival. Though between you and me, I've always hated the cold toes. And you wonder why the bards whisper our names with such fear. Because terror is only half the story. Jötunheim is not chaos. It is alive. Rivers of ice sing. Trees of frost groan under the weight of winter. And we thrive here, yet we are misunderstood. To your ancestors, we were mere monsters. To us, humans are the fleeting spark of curiosity, loud, short-lived, and tragically blind. I have watched them laugh, fight, and cry, and sometimes I envied them for warmth, for imperfection, though between you and me, watching them slip on ice never gets old. We built our halls from glaciers taller than clouds. We tamed storms. We raised frost beasts you could barely imagine. And yes, sometimes we quarreled, but our fights never lasted. Unlike humans, they never stop once chaos enters their hearts. Our greatest joy was creation itself, not conquest. Not war, just the slow shaping of cold into something eternal. But every joy has its shadow, and ours came in the form of the gods. Odin, Thor, the so-called gods. They feared our freedom, so they lied. They made humans worship them. And us? They painted us as beasts, as villains. They wanted you to see only terror, and perhaps it worked. I remember the first war. My brother, frozen mid-laugh, shattering under Mjolnir. My rage, it was the storm. War taught us fear, but also cunning and sorrow, and yes, a hint of revenge, though gods are clumsy fighters. A bit of frost in their hair, and they scream like children. I am not a monster. I am the memory of what you fear to remember, that your world is fragile, but you don't know the half of it. Because every story told is already a lie. We retaliated in ways that would terrify your storytellers. Yet, for all our power, for all our storms, the gods had something we did not. Patience. And cleverness. Legends? Oh, I love legends. Humans tell them with such confidence, as if repetition can reshape truth. In your stories, I am a brute, a destroyer. But I am also a guardian, a witness, a mother to the frost flowers that bloom in silence. Every tale twists me, turns my sorrow into fear, my loneliness into terror, and yet I let it. Perhaps I like being feared. There is safety in it, though calling me giant snow demon might be a bit much. I mean, have you seen a snow demon? They're adorable, and yet there is humor in this, for even as humans distort our faces, exaggerate our deeds, the truth often hides in plain sight. I have saved more of your kind than I have harmed, though admittedly, watching the occasional hunter trip over his own feet is a guilty pleasure. Yes, even frost giants have their soft side, and their wicked sense of irony. This was not just war, it was the end of innocence. The gods struck with certainty, and we We struck back with despair. Every mountain fell, every forest shattered. And yet, you call us monsters. I remember the face of a child, human, frozen in fear as I passed. I could have, but I did not. I could have ended it all, but I did not. And that is my curse, because love, even for fleeting sparks of life, is the cruelest frost of all. Our world was collapsing. The sky itself seemed to weep as ice met fire, and in the center of it all, I realized what we were truly fighting for: memory, for existence, for dignity, not vengeance. And yet, the world would remember only terror, not our tears. They call it defeat, but it is misunderstanding. I did not fight for conquest. I fought to live, to protect my kin, to honor the world that birthed me. But in the end, survival is only a word humans use to make sense of loss. I was broken, yes. But even as I fell, I left a fragment of my story, one they cannot erase, even with myths. And yes, I may have left a few footprints just to scare the next bard. In truth, we were not monsters. We were the frost of time, eternal, unforgiving, but alive. And our only crime was to exist too fully, too freely, in a world that could not comprehend us. You think my story ends here? You are wrong. My end was never an end, only a pause. They think this is the end, but it was only the beginning. The frost remembers, and I am not finished yet. And one day, perhaps you will see me not as a monster, but as a warning, a memory, a truth you dared not know. But that wasn't the end, not by far. The ice stirs, and when it wakes, you will hear me again.
If you've walked this far into the shadows of legend, leave your mark, like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which myth should we awaken next?